Hey everyone, this is Friday, January 30th, 2026, and we are now just hours away from a powerful winter storm that is going to absolutely hammer the southeast and climb up the east coast. The latest models have come in and snowfall totals have gone up since yesterday. We are now looking at 12 to 15 inches across a huge swath of the Carolinas, and this system is going to intensify into what I can only describe as a snow cane right offshore with the strength of a Category 2 hurricane. Let me say that again because I need everyone to understand the magnitude of what is about to happen. This storm is going to have hurricane-force winds just off the coast while dumping historic snow across the Carolinas and Virginia. Wind gusts of 70 to 80 miles per hour are possible along the North Carolina Outer Banks. This is going to be an extremely dangerous and potentially historic event. For those who remember the legendary winter of 2013, particularly the February nor'easter that buried Boston under more than 2 feet of snow and paralyzed the entire Northeast, this storm has that same signature. But what makes this one different is the extreme cold accompanying it and the fact that the Carolinas are ground zero for the heaviest snow. The temperatures we are seeing with this system are going to break records dating back to 2010 in some areas, particularly in Florida where freeze watches and extreme cold watches have been issued for the first time ever in some locations. By the way, if you'd like specific weather forecasts for your region or city, please leave them in the comments. I'll answer them individually as time allows. Also, if you like the video and subscribe to my channel, you'd be very grateful. Now let's move on. Winter storm warnings are now posted across the region shown in pink on the maps. Winter weather advisories are in purple, and winter storm watches in gray will convert to warnings as we get closer to the event. This is game time, folks. The storm starts tonight and peaks Saturday into early Sunday. Let me break down the specific snowfall totals because the numbers have increased significantly with the latest model runs. Starting with the deep south, Georgia is on the edge of this storm but will still see impacts. Atlanta is looking at around 1 inch of snow, which does not sound like much, but combined with the extreme cold will create hazardous conditions. Augusta and Athens are looking at a few inches of accumulation. Savannah could see up to ½ an inch of snow, which is unusual for the coastal Georgia area. The mountains of northeast Georgia will see more significant accumulation. South Carolina is getting hammered by this storm. Columbia is looking at several inches of snow, with the Midlands region seeing significant accumulation. The upstate, including Greenville, Greenwood, and Spartanburg, is in the heavier snow zone. Florence and Myrtle Beach are looking at 6 to 9 inches or more as the storm intensifies right off the coast. Charleston could see accumulating snow, which is rare for the low country. The trend over the past 24 hours has been for the snow to extend further south and west across South Carolina than initially expected. The NAM model and GFS are in great agreement, showing heavy snow bands setting up across the state. North Carolina is absolutely ground zero for this potentially historic storm. The snowfall totals have increased dramatically. Winston-Salem, Charlotte, Raleigh, Fayetteville, Greenville, and Elizabeth City are all looking at 12 to 15 inches of snow. Some areas could see even higher totals as this storm intensifies. Charlotte is looking at 10 to 14 inches of accumulation. This would easily be the biggest snowstorm in at least a decade for the Queen City, potentially the biggest in memory for some residents. Raleigh is in the same range with 12 to 15 inches possible. The Piedmont is going to get absolutely buried. The Outer Banks are facing an extremely dangerous situation. Not only are they looking at heavy snow, but wind gusts of 70 to 80 miles per hour are possible as this storm reaches peak intensity just offshore. Blizzard conditions are essentially guaranteed for the Outer Banks and eastern North Carolina. Waves of 20 to 22 feet are expected to pound the coast. This combination of heavy snow, hurricane-force winds, and massive waves is extraordinarily rare. Elizabeth City, Greenville, New Bern, and the entire eastern portion of the state need to prepare for an extremely dangerous situation. This is not just a snowstorm. This is a full-blown blizzard with potential for significant coastal impacts. Virginia is also getting crushed by this storm. Virginia Beach is looking at significant accumulation, potentially approaching 1 foot of snow. The Tidewater region, including Norfolk and Hampton Roads, is in the heavy snow zone. Richmond could see 6 to 10 inches. Northern Virginia will see accumulating snow with higher amounts in the eastern suburbs. The I-95 corridor from Richmond through Northern Virginia will see significant accumulation. This is going to completely disrupt travel for days given the extreme cold that follows. Tennessee is seeing some snow with this system as well. Knoxville is looking at around 5 inches. Nashville will see about an inch. Chattanooga and Cookeville will see a few inches. The higher elevations of the Tennessee portion of the Appalachians will see more significant accumulation. Kentucky is getting clipped by the northern edge of this storm. Somerset, Berea, and Elizabethtown will see a few inches of snow. The amounts increase as you go east toward the Virginia border. West Virginia will see accumulating snow with amounts increasing from an inch in the western portions to significant accumulation in the eastern mountains near the Virginia border. Now, let me talk about the storm dynamics because understanding what is happening helps explain why this is so dangerous. This system is going to undergo explosive intensification as it moves off the Carolina coast Saturday evening. The pressure is going to drop rapidly as the storm taps into the temperature contrast between the frigid Arctic air over land and the relatively warm Gulf Stream waters offshore. This is the classic bomb cyclone setup that produces the most powerful nor'easters. At peak intensity, this storm will have the equivalent strength of a Category 2 hurricane right off the coast. The winds will be howling, the seas will be dangerous, and the snow will be falling at incredible rates inland. Snowfall rates of 2 to 3 inches per hour are possible during the heaviest bands. The models are now in excellent agreement on the track and intensity. The GFS, NAM, and Euro are all showing the storm intensifying right off the Carolina coast Saturday evening, then pivoting and potentially bringing some impacts to southeastern New England by Sunday. The trend has been for the storm to track in a way that favors the Carolinas and Virginia for the heaviest snow, while the Northeast sees less than initially expected. The GFS is still trying to bring totals up to 2 feet in some areas. I do not think we will see quite that much, but 12 to 15 inches is definitely looking possible across a wide area. The higher elevations of the Appalachians could see even more due to the colder temperatures aloft enhancing snow ratios. Now let me talk about the extreme cold because this is going to be life-threatening for many. The temperatures accompanying this storm are extraordinary. Friday morning is bringing 20s all the way down to the deep south, with negative temperatures across the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and Great Lakes. Wind chills Friday morning are brutal with negative 20 to negative 30 degrees across the Midwest, negative 15 to negative 20 across the Great Lakes, and negative 10 to negative 15 across the Ohio Valley and Northeast. Saturday morning brings freezing temperatures all the way from New Mexico and Colorado through Texas to the Gulf Coast and up to the Northeast. Negative temperatures continue across the northern tier. The wind chills Saturday morning will make it feel like negative 5 degrees all the way down to Mississippi and Alabama. This is a very deep, cold blast. Here is the critical point. Whatever snow falls is going to stay on the ground for an extended period. The high temperatures Saturday will be below freezing across almost the entire eastern United States. Sunday is even colder with freezing temperatures reaching way down into southern Florida. Florida is facing an unprecedented situation. Freeze watches and extreme cold watches have been issued, including for areas that have never received these notifications before. Sunday morning wind chills will reach all the way down to the Florida Keys. This is going to break records dating back to 2010. Citrus crops, tropical plants, and anyone without adequate heating are at serious risk. The high temperatures Sunday will keep everyone who received snow below freezing. This snow is not melting anytime soon. If you get a foot of snow, you are looking at that snow for a week or more given the extended cold pattern. And here is the thing that has my attention. We have another cold blast coming right behind this one. The Arctic oscillation pattern shows another surge of frigid air arriving at the end of next week. This is not a one-and-done cold snap. We are locked into an extended pattern of extreme cold that rivals the legendary winters of 2013, 2014, and 2009-2010. The wave action with this storm is also going to be significant. Western Florida will see 10 to 12-foot waves Saturday evening. Eastern Florida and the Georgia coast will see 8 to 10-foot waves. But the real action is off North Carolina and Virginia, where 20 to 22-foot waves will pound the Outer Banks. This, combined with the astronomical high tides, could produce significant coastal flooding and erosion. For New England, the latest trends have pulled the storm further away, reducing expected snowfall totals. Massachusetts and Rhode Island may still see some snow as the storm pivots toward the northeast Sunday, but the levels have gone down compared to yesterday's forecasts. Boston could still see a few inches, and Cape Cod remains in play for more significant accumulation, but this is no longer looking like the blockbuster event for New England that it appeared to be a couple days ago. The bottom line is this. If you are in the Carolinas or Virginia, this is a historic winter storm that demands respect and preparation. 12 to 15 inches of snow combined with wind gusts that could approach hurricane force in coastal areas is an extremely dangerous combination. The extreme cold that follows means any power outages could become life-threatening situations. Make sure you are prepared. Stock up on supplies if you have not already. Charge all your devices. Have backup heating sources ready. Check on elderly neighbors and make sure they have what they need to stay warm. Fill your vehicles with gas. Have flashlights and batteries ready. Travel is going to be impossible during the peak of the storm, Saturday afternoon through Sunday morning across the heaviest snow zones. Even after the snow stops, the extreme cold and drifting snow will make roads hazardous for days. This is the kind of storm that people will talk about for years. The combination of heavy snow, extreme winds, and brutal cold all happening together is rare. The comparisons to the legendary winters of 2010 and 2013 are absolutely warranted. I will be tracking this storm through the weekend and providing updates as conditions develop. Please stay safe, stay warm, and take this storm seriously. This is not the time to be out on the roads or taking unnecessary risks. That is going to wrap it up for this update. Take care, everyone, stay safe, and I will see you in the next one.